And you see the Hogs have really been a completely different team since that OU series at Ellis. The 26 home runs, one more, and she stands alone as the best single season home run hitter in the history of the SEC. And it will be Kirsten Deal. They go to the left-hander to try and throw them into the SEC championship for the junior out of North Carolina.
Well, Deal, that lefty has that good spin. She's done a good job this year of trying to limit those free passes. That's really one of the keys. We see we get deep into this postseason play. You got to limit those free passes. We'll talk a little bit later about what she's throwing, but good spin, good mix of different velocities.
And in for a strike to Reagan Johnson, the junior from Texas. 3 for 8 with a couple runs scored through their first 2 games. They beat Georgia on Wednesday 5-1, and then Tennessee yesterday 6-1. And a little blooper out to left, and the leadoff is aboard.
How about how Reagan Johnson beats the shift? This is how they played her in the 3-game series. They pull an extra outfielder onto the infield, and so it makes her difficult to get a ground ball through the infield. So she just pops it over their head and finds no man's land out there in left field.
This is Reagan Kramer. Had the long ball yesterday in the 7th inning. Last time she swung the bat, the senior from Topeka, Kansas. Two for 6 here at the SEC tournament. They've played a couple games. Oklahoma just the one. A 4-1 winner over LSU yesterday. Sam Landry spun a spectacular game, just a one-hitter with 7 strikeouts. And now Deal will try and follow that up.
The crazy thing about Reagan Kramer's grand slam is that it was off of the first pitch that she saw off of the SEC back-to-back pitcher of the year in Carlin Pickens. And Reagan Kramer is usually a hitter that shows a lot of patience. She has a great eye at the plate, doesn't chase a lot, and so for her to come out and swing at that first pitch, I think took everybody by surprise, including Pickens.
Well, not that prototypical home run hitter either, right? So,
Exactly.
But you don't have to be when Pickens is supplying all the juice, right? You just got to barrel it up.
The ruling on the field is a ball on the pitch. Arkansas is challenging for a hit by pitch. Previous plays under further review.
So each side gets a couple of challenges, and then late in the game, the officials, the umpires can choose to go to a review on their own. Chelsea Clark, Cameron Ellison, Marty Abzetian are umpires today. Does this one catch her on the elbow? Might have skimmed it. Call on the field was just a ball.
Yeah, a little skim.
Yeah.
Back to the Replay Review Center in Birmingham, and SEC headquarters. They've been so good all weekend, all year, really. I mean, the reviews go in, they come back, usually in a timely fashion. Arkansas recalls one that took a little bit longer against Florida this year, but that's for another day.
And hopefully never again.
Yes. And hopefully not for this day. They need video evidence to try and change it. Otherwise, it'll stand as, I believe, ball 2.
After review, the call on the field of ball is upheld. Count is 2-1. That is Arkansas's first challenge of the game.
Well, that could be big because you don't want to put a couple on with Bree Ellis coming up next. There you see Courtney Deifel and the numbers for her. Swept the regular season and the tournament back in 2022. One of 7 different SEC tournament champions in the last 10 years. It's no cakewalk for a #1 seed. This year, that's Oklahoma. The 1 seed has only won 8 of 18.
Well, and you think about, too, why she would want to review that as Reagan Kramer just goes ahead and takes a free pass anyway. But you have the option for a couple of pitches ago for Bri Ellis to come up with 2 runners on base. So using that challenge early, trying to get her on with runners on.
Well, it also gives a little time to pause, make Deal think a little bit longer while that review's going on, feel the pressure.
The senior from Houston was 4 for 4 against Deal in their regular season meeting with a couple of bombs. 26 on the year, 72 runs batted in, and nearly hitting 500. Those are Jocelyn Alo type of numbers. And Deal gets her to pop it up. In foul ground, Nellie Mack under it. 1 down.
That's a huge get for Deal. Non-productive out. Not to mention it's the home run hitting Bri Ellis that you get to pop up on the infield.
So now it's Courtney Day who's moved up in the lineup last couple of days behind her to protect. 373 on the season with a runner in scoring position as Arkansas tries to strike early in this semifinal.
Well, remember, Courtney Day in game 1 of this tournament was not hitting behind Bri Ellis. It was Ella McDowell. And in the second game against Tennessee, they went ahead and made that change. And I think that was such a good change that Courtney Deifel made to put Courtney Day, the senior with World Series experience. She's a veteran behind Bri Ellis, not to mention second most home runs on the team.
Yeah, 16, Bri with 26.
And a quick chat now with Emmerling and Deal. Here's what she did on Wednesday, Amanda.
And this is when she was not hitting behind Bri Ellis. She hit a home run, and they were pitching around Bri Ellis in that game constantly, and then Courtney Day scored the first run of the game for Arkansas, and so it just made you think, like, man, what if she was hitting behind Bri Ellis? Would they have chosen to pitch to her more? How would they have gone about it differently? But with that home run pop, I think she plays such an important part in this Arkansas lineup.
Well, Bri Ellis and Courtney Day, the two of them together, 61% of the home runs that Arkansas hits.
3-0 is in for a strike.
And you guys, you just want that intimidation factor on deck to put it in the back of the pitch caller's head, the catcher, the pitcher's head, to just have to think about maybe, are you going to give Bri Ellis anything to hit? Because Courtney Day is on deck. They could question it.
Backdoor curveball. So 2 pitches that Deal has got, one up in the zone, a rise ball that Day did not agree with, and now this is a backdoor curveball. It's going to start in the river. She's trying to bend it into the back part of the plate. Great job by Emmerling. Patty Gasso has said that she's one of the best in business.
3-2. And now Day's got a swing, popped up, and onto the top of the dugout. Gave good chase for Kirsten Deal. A lot of curveballs and rise balls in the repertoire.
She's got that changeup she'll go to as well, but it's a lot of east and west, so coming into righties, backdoor, rise ball up in the zone, and then that changeup at various times.
And that one's off the mark.
Yeah, and that was the changeup that she used in a 3-2 count.
Couple of walks for Deal, who got roughed up in her last start against Florida last weekend. 5 earned runs in just an inning and 2/3, but she does have nice wins this year over Texas and Tennessee and South Carolina. Usually strong in the opening frame. Wyckoff, base hit, and a run will score. Reagan Johnson comes in. Reagan Kramer will stay at third, so they are still loaded with 1 out.
How about Wyckoff being extremely aggressive coming out? First pitch swinging, driving that ball into right field. And so it's an inside pitch that she just gets around, attacks early, drives that through the infield that was slightly pulled in.
McDowell out to center on a rope to Dayton to throw home. Not in time as Kramer tags to score the second run. So the sacrifice fly for Ella
things happening fast for Arkansas's offense with how aggressive they're being at the plate. First pitch swinging by Wyckoff, and then McDowell just barreling up that sacrifice fly.
And that'll get Jen Rocha, the pitching coach, out of the dugout to chat with Deal. So one free pass comes around to score. There's another one standing on third base. And that is the freshman lefty, Audrey Lowry, who is already up in the bullpen.
And Ella McDowell is a freshman that Courtney Deifel has a ton of confidence in. She was the player that was hitting behind Brie Ellis earlier in the tournament. Great slide by Kramer, trying to avoid the bat lane out by the batter's box.
Yeah,
very athletic to move around the catcher as well.
Yeah, Emmerling, the throw taking her into the line.
So they're also going to charge the error to the catcher Emmerling there to allow the runners to advance.
That's a tough call, taking an error on that one. The throw takes you up the line.
Yeah.
And she, too, is avoiding the bat, right? Trying to make the catch and get the runner.
Avoiding the bat, an obstruction in the back of your mind if you're a catcher with how much it's called.
Two still in scoring position here for Kennedy Miller. The seven spot in the order. A couple of walks, a couple of hits, and a 2-0 Arkansas lead.
Well, you're trying to beat a team that you just haven't had very much success against or luck against. It is a big deal to come out and score early, especially when they have Oklahoma written on the front of their jerseys.
And it's been a while for Arkansas. Fly ball out to right, and coming on is Sydney Barker to make the catch. A couple in, couple left on. Sooners coming up.
Internet.
Arkansas puts a 2-spot on the board in the top half of the first, and here come the Sooners picking up the bats for the first time. Led by Ella Parker. Red hot her last 11 games, hitting over 500 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs, battling through a lower leg injury that was slowing her down in March and into April, but not so much now that the mayhem is underway, and she backs up Cassidy Pickering, the 2 sophomores at the top of this order. Cassidy named this morning to the All-SEC first team. Went 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored yesterday. And Davison at second takes care of her, 1 down. So that brings up Ella Parker, the sophomore out of Los Angeles, 1 for 3. It was a double with a run scored to face Peyton Burnham, the freshman from Eugene, Oregon. Getting the call in the circle. In for a strike. Third-team All-American last year. She was the Big 12 tournament MVP. Now trying to match that in the SEC tournament for the first time. Well, was spectacular at the World Series. Her first national championship. The 8th for the Sooners, the 6th in the last 8 years as the dynasty tries to roll on through another postseason. There's Patty Gasso, 31st year. Adding to her chores, the U.S. national team now going to lead America into the Olympics in 2028.
Burnham's gotten a lot of experience for Arkansas behind the ace of Robin Herron, the lefty. As a freshman, she's gotten a lot of pitching time. Even got to pitch against these guys earlier in the year. That nasty changeup that will just fall off the table. It almost looks like an off-speed drop. She'll throw it anywhere between 58, 61 miles an hour, but a very effective pitch for her is that changeup.
It's her second start of this tournament. Got the start against Georgia a couple days ago.
Well, take a look at how they're playing Parker. So they've got their shorts shortstop. Way up the middle. And they've got
Parker slashes that one to third. 2 down.
Well, Peyton Burnham is able to go up and down in the zone. She can bring it at 68, 70 miles an hour, both sides of the plate, up and down. But I'm telling you guys, this changeup, it just falls off the table. She wants you to chase it down in the zone. She can locate it through the zone for a strike. That changeup is her best chase pitch and her best swing and miss pitch as well.
Now it's Nelly McEnroe-Marinas. Ball.
Actually, we'll go to that rise ball the most. She's able to locate that pitch on a lot of different levels. A changeup, 43% whiff rate, alongside her curveball and screwball side to side.
Nelly from Hawaii sat out last year, told us this year she had a terrible case of FOMO watching her teammates win the title and could not wait to get going this year. She's gone from a red shirt to a captain. That's how much they value her leadership and opinion. I think a lot of folks were surprised that there was not a Sooner on the final National Freshman of the Year top 10 list, neither Nelly Mack or Gabby Garcia.
Yeah, that whole left side of their infield has been so strong defensively, offensively as well. Hit the 3-4 holes.
Two-two pitch here. Golfs that one out to center, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. 2-out base runner for OU.
Off-speed pitch on the lower outside corner. And you look at the way that Nelly Mack is just going to go down and get that, stays through that pitch. And because of that, that's how she gets to the drop. How about Reagan Johnson, though? She was playing deep. Nice effort. Almost ran that down.
So here's the other freshman. They're back-to-back number 3 and 4 in their lineup. Both of them with double-digit home runs. Garcia, the freshman from Chandler, Arizona.
And that's that pitch, Michelle, that Nelly hit that when you're playing in high school and travel ball, that changeup that Burnham threw is a good pitch. But you get to college and you have these type of hitters like Nelly McEnroe-Marinas, who was also a freshman. Let's turn that into a hit.
In the Southeastern Conference this year, the newcomers, 20 home runs and 53 RBIs. McEnroe-Marinas was named to the All-SEC team. Garcia sends one the opposite way, back to the track, and with room to make the catch is Kramer. One hit, one left on. 2-0 Arkansas through 1.
Call today. They are a ruthlessly competitive family. Those are his words, not mine.
Oh, yeah, I think we got a tail of the tape coming up later because they both handle their respective teams' offenses. Of course, JT for his mom and DJ for Courtney Deifel.
And Patty had told me earlier in the year that she never thought that they would both be softball coaches. And she said specifically about DJ, he will unfocus me. He does that. He knows how. She coaches in the third base coach's box, and that's where her team is. So maybe not going to be getting it as much.
DJ was mic'd up yesterday pregame. They were playing right after Oklahoma's win. Foul ball there from Rio. It's 8-9-1. Mom and son had some good back and forth we'll get to in just a second. Rio's the native New Yorker. Looking for her first hit of the tournament, 0 for 6. Deal down in the dirt.
And that changeup is a big deal for Deal. She needs to be able to throw that for a strike. She's hopped it in a little bit. When she throws that successfully, it just changes the complexity of her ability to attack hitters.
2-2 pitch. Gets by Deal, and there's like Bayani to pick it up. Here was Patty and DJ pregame yesterday.
Coach, we're about to talk to DJ Gasso, your son.
Is he coming up
He's got the mic on right now, I think. Is DJ with us?
Hey, Mom. You see, I tried to say hi to her earlier. She didn't listen to me down the line.
What did you have for breakfast this morning, young man?
Oh.
Be honest.
I didn't have anything. I'm trying to lose weight.
That's not true. There's a lie.
Mom knew what was what.
Love it. Well, Patty told us when they played at Arkansas that DJ was in the dugout yelling, "Mom, Mom, 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 Mom," when she was in the third base coach's box, and she was like, shh,
Just trying her best not to listen.
not to listen.
Davison, the number 9 hitter, sends that one deep. Back to the base of the wall and leaping up. It's off the glove of Pickering. Stays in the yard. And Davison with a double.
How about the 9-hole coming up big? A 1-out double for Davison. She's going to drive this changeup that stays elevated. Now remember, earlier last count against Rehal, she threw the changeup in the dirt. She tries to make the adjustment. It's too high. Pickering, who is typically in right field, in left field today, it goes off the glove.
Little small ball, dropping it down to advance the runner. Well done by Reagan Johnson. And a runner at third base. Yeah, it looked like Pickering could have taken another step back to the wall before she leapt. One down, and here comes the number 2 hitter, Reagan Kramer. And a chance to add to their lead. So as Patty comes out to talk with her pitcher and the defense, here's what her sons have done with their 2 offenses this year. All gas, so no breaks, baby. And for Arkansas and Oklahoma, both scoring 7.6 runs per game. Oklahoma with a little more power. And we have an early pitching change because of how potent these offenses can be. Back to the SEC semis in a moment. Beautiful day here in Athens, and Kirsten Deal, 30 pitches. You know, an inning and 2/3 for her, and the new pitcher now is Bella Smith with a runner at third base, and the number 2 hitter, Reagan Kramer, coming up.
This is all about trying to roll some ground balls. Isabella Smith throws about 30% drop balls. She can elevate with a rise ball.
Kramer walked and scored in the first. Hitting nearly 100 points better this year than she did last. And a 3-year starter for the Hogs.
And one of the leaders for this team, too. Immediately, Courtney Deifel points to her and the type of leader that she is, how she leads, and leads with her offensive approach as well, of course.
Fouled back onto the roof. This is the 10th relief appearance for Bella Smith. Did throw an inning against Arkansas in the regular season. 79 career wins for the transfer from Campbell, who started out her career with JMU. Two and two.
That's the drop ball in the outer half. Little out, little up. Little up is in terms of you don't want it quite that sweet for the hitters. You want that drop ball to be a little bit lower, below the knee.
And Reagan Kramer chased on that rise ball, but she has such a good eye, Michelle. These were the type of hitters that when I was pitching, they just made me so mad, because as a pitcher, you want people to chase. It makes you feel good. They're swinging and missing out of the zone. Oh, yeah, thank you. Like, little undisciplined. But when somebody like her comes up, she does not chase out of the zone very often.
Yeah, to your point, 42 walks on the year.
Slow roller to second. Agbayani's got to hurry. Not in time, and a run scores. As Davison heads home from third, 3-0.
It's a bang-bang play at first base. Agbayani is so quick, got rid of it fast, but Reagan Kramer hustled down the line so hard, and she just barely beat it, I think. That is as close as it can get.
It's a great call over at first, because that was a bang-bang play.
It's a great call and an RBI.
Not much Agbayani could do with that either. Those slow developing plays are just difficult.
And now it's Bri Ellis's turn with a runner on. Popped up to third her first time up. That home run record tied with Bailey Hemphill and Mia Davidson, and not likely to last throughout the postseason. Oh, 2 here from Smith. Ellis off the lights down the left field line.
She hit a walk-off grand slam against Randy Rowland in Georgia. I mean, that pitch was right down the middle, you guys, and it was the only strike she got. It was the only swing she had in the, not at bat, in the entire game. That was the only time she swung the bat, and it was a walk-off grand slam.
Another 0-2 pitch.
So the previous pitch that was hit into the lights was a changeup. That one's a 63 mile an hour, trying to get underneath the hands.
That's where pitchers have tried to pitch her more of her quote-unquote weaker spot, especially when she was a freshman and sophomore. But it's an area of the plate up and in that she's really worked on even last year, and you could tell by her batting average against a rise ball her freshman year was 100. Her sophomore year was 071. But then her junior year, when she got to Arkansas, turned it into 278 and over 400 this year.
Got her to pop it up again. Emmerling behind the plate, has it. Taking care of Bri Ellis, but the other Hogs are causing some trouble. 3 runs in their first couple of at-bats, wreaking some havoc, trying to take out the top seed. English and Spanish. A little pro soccer for you. And Sydney Sanders trying to match the home run that she hit yesterday with another one today. She will lead things off. 5, 6, and 7 for the Sooners, who find themselves in a bind early, down 3-zip. Sanders a 2-run shot yesterday in their win over LSU, their first SEC tournament win.
And her patience at the plate, too, has really grown this year. Taken a lot of pitches, drawn a lot of walks, still has that power.
Well, her conditioning is so different. And, you know, she was a big boomer early in her career and even earlier this year. And then it was all about the walks for a while. And now 4 of her last 8 hits are homers. So she's back to blasting away as well. A check swing there, 1 down. Send it down to Holly Rowe.
Well, these two teams played early in the SEC season, and Courtney Deifel said, we are a completely different team now than we were then. The first 2 weeks of SEC play, they really struggled. They hadn't faced much adversity, and Arkansas got off to a poor start, getting outscored by Oklahoma 23-11 in that series, 3 straight losses.
Agbayani, and over in foul territory to make the catch is Kramer. 2 down, Holly.
So she said, you know, we brought the team together and we said, you can decide. We've got to have more resistance. We've got to be tougher. Is this going to be a team that folds under moments like these, or is this a team that wants a different chance at this season? And they've responded. Since that loss to Oklahoma, they are 20-5. It turned their season around. And you can see this is a much different team starting this game today than they did back in March against OU.
Well, Holly, one of the things that we've seen at this SEC tournament, but also throughout the year, is grit. You know, the X factor for a lot of these teams is fight, grit, relentless, not giving in. The teams that do that just tend to stay in the game longer.
Well, and they beat 4 top 10 teams in SEC play this year. I mean, there's 8 total SEC weekends, and they faced that many top 10 opponents, and they had 4 series wins against top 10 opponents.
And 3 of those on the road, by the way.
Right.
A&M, Florida, Tennessee, not easy places to go. So their RPI says 6, but honestly, if they win this thing, they're going to be, I think the highest they've ever had was 2022. They were a 4 seed.
Yeah.
That's probably the best team they've ever had at Arkansas. Back it goes to the track, and that's gone. Sydney Barker. A late season addition to the starting lineup, strikes for the Sooners. Their 97th of the year.
So Sydney Barker has this home run power. Oftentimes she pinch hit earlier in the season, and she'd hit home runs. And oftentimes Patty Gasso will start her, and she hits home runs. Look at her get on plane with this rise ball at letter high in the zone, and it just kept going. She got her barrel there, and the ball just continued to fly. This is only 190 down the lines here at this Georgia Park. But we still haven't seen a lot of home runs at the SEC tournament despite that.
She has started just 3 of the last 4 games, but now a blast here, her 2nd home run in SEC play. Oh! Almost a chance for our buddies next door in one of the radio booths down from us. Of course, if you've been watching us here at the SEC tournament, you know there's some history up here with foul balls.
Yes.
Up and into Emmerling. Bella, the starting catcher, they lost 6 starting position players from a year ago. Kinsey Hansen, the catcher, and Emmerling transferring in to take that spot. They also had to replace their 3 top pitchers from a year ago. And what a job that Patty Gasso has done. She said it's been so great coaching, teaching, watching these youngsters grow together, and the transfers mesh together. What's crazy is their numbers are similar to they have been in recent years when they were winning national championships offensively.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. Earlier in the year, she said we're not as powerful, but they actually had more home runs earlier in the season than last year's team did.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to hit 100 for the 6th year in a row. Full count. I mean, this is crazy. Those last 4 seasons, all national championships. The average is in the neighborhood, so are the runs scored and the home runs hit. It's a rocket foul down the line.
Just thinking about it, it's so crazy. My freshman year at A&M, we led the nation in team batting average, and our batting average was .305. And you think about what the nation's leaders are in terms of average and just average in the SEC. I mean, it's just way higher than that now. .305 was our team batting average in 2005.
Technology, analytics, video.
Well, the balls, the bats are very different. Yeah. So when we say technology, it's not just technology training the athletes.
Mental toughness coaches, dietitians, all this stuff helps them prepare. 10th pitch of this at bat. And Emmerling will step out as Burnham steps off. Coming up shortly, Holly will be chatting with Courtney Dyfa. And we'll probably be heading out to the store to grab a few more softballs.
Emmerling is one of the best at just yanking foul balls. I mean, she just has the...
Where's the out pitches, you two pitchers?
Exactly.
Where are the out pitches?
Well, it's
all these foul balls.
Hard to sneak that third strike past hitters these days. They just make adjustments, a lot of foul balls.
And she draws the walk after all that. Little rally on two here for OU, and Courtney says, where was that? What was wrong with that one?
Yeah, that's a drop on the outer half after challenging underneath the hands. Doesn't get the call.
So now Abby Dayton, the transfer from Utah. Somebody used to be the hitting coach at Utah that might be in the building today. Oh yeah, Patty Gasso's son, DJ, who's now with Arkansas. She's a former Pac-12 batting champ that DJ had a hand in.
So DJ Gasso coached at Utah, and then she was teammates with Carly Davidson, the second baseman at Arkansas, at Utah, and then they were together on the Batbusters too.
Just misses away. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of secrets, or everybody's familiar with everybody else's game.
Play against each other growing up, and against each other in college again, or with each other in college.
All about the execution. Ground ball to short, nice spin play. Davison gets out her old buddy. That'll bust your bat right there. But Oklahoma does get one up. Sydney Barker.
Barker goes yard. Look at the way she's going to get underneath this rise ball. 7th home run of the year. Barker sending it long gone. Sooners are on the board.
Dogs out, Smitty.
But I like what I see so far. Thanks, Coach. Thank you. We picked.
Yeah, Holly, they've scored in their first two at-bats.
Yeah, Reagan Johnson set the tone with a leadoff single, got on, and then Reagan Kramer followed it with the walk. Those two, 1 and 2 in the lineup, came around to score in that first inning where Arkansas jumped out on top, scored in back-to-back innings. Got to love that as a coach.
4, 5, and 6 coming up. Courtney Day to lead things off. So far, Oklahoma has kept Bri Ellis quiet, but the other Razorbacks have been making some noise. This is probably their most complete team since that 2022 club that was just an absolute monster. Such high expectations. I mean, they had power, they had speed.
Pitching staff.
They had a pitching staff with 120 game winner and a 19 game winner, and things were all aligned for them to go to the World Series for the first time. And unseeded Texas went into Fayetteville and won 2 straight and clipped them and shocked the softball world. They were a 4 seed.
Well, and they won game 1 of that super.
Yes, they did. And then Sophia Simpson happened for the Longhorns.
Game 3.
And propelled them all the way to the championship series against Oklahoma. Is this the team that can break through in the postseason? They've also got to figure out how to win those pressure games at home. They've been knocked out of the NCAAs 4 years in a row at Bogle Park. So they are hoping to rewrite that, or change the script moving forward in what will likely be a chance to play at home in the regionals and the super regionals. And you see, they've hosted, they've been top 8 seeds those 2 years in the supers, and then the last 2 seasons losing to unseeded teams at home. What a springboard it would be to take an SEC championship into the NCAA tournament. Of course, Selection Sunday is a couple days away. 2 hours of coverage will reveal the bracket starting at 7 Eastern Sunday night on ESPN2. There's Kaylee Wyckoff. She gets a hold of one. Back that goes. And that one will leave the yard. 2-run blast. And the Hogs tack on a couple more.
You always talk about wanting power to follow power, to protect them. And that's exactly what Arkansas has been able to do by moving Courtney Day up and Wyckoff behind Day. So she gets a pitch she can handle to drop ball that just hangs upstairs, and she's able to go down and get it. Look at that backside rotation, the way she just gets that barrel through. You could hear it off the bat. You knew it was going out of the yard. 6th home run of the year. How about 220 feet off the bat?
And that is 3 walks now in the ball game. 2 of them have scored as Day comes in front of her. And the Razorbacks are trying to erase the distant memory of a sweep at the hands of Gasso's group back in March. And I think we've got a challenge coming. Or at least a discussion about, I'm guessing, would that be, did the base runner leave early?
With the rule change with the home run, he couldn't even do that anymore as of this year, and she's very late.
Should have just stayed at first base. She was so late. I mean, it's a good thing it left the yard.
I know. What a day for Wyckoff at the plate.
No doubt.
RBIs.
So here's McDowell, who has also driven one in with a sac fly. Behind Bree Ellis, the next 3 in the order have reached base 4 times, have driven in 4 runs, and have scored twice. That's like top-notch security right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that Bree trying to work something out in the dugout?
Robin Heron.
Oh, that's Robin Heron. And there's a base knock right back up the middle. McDowell. And they are picking apart Sooner pitching so far.
McDowell has had some good swings in this game. A sacrifice fly, that was a line drive using the middle of the field, and now taking this changeup right back up the middle of the field. That is 2 up, 2 down the middle for an 0-2 pitch, and the freshman takes advantage of that mistake. Keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, the home run was a 0-1 pitch. That's a 0-2 miss. Can't give it those types of hits when you're ahead.
I think that this Arkansas team just has a different confidence about them than in March when these 2 teams faced. And even Reagan Kramer had said in studio at SEC Now after the game yesterday that she said, we want to play them at our best and we want their best. So I think that overall, just speaking as a leader on this team, just feeling different about their game, about their team.
They're pounding opponents so far in the tournament. How about that? 11 of the 16 runs thanks to home runs, of course, a pair of grand slams in the 7th inning of their first 2 games.
Yeah, and again, this is a team where 61% of their home runs come from 2 hitters, Bree Ellis and Courtney Day, that are in the 3 and 4 hole. So the rest of the team stepping up and hitting home runs as well. Davison, Wyckoff in this particular game. I mean, that's big.
That is tattooed, headed for the foul pole and just outside of it. They are on point right now at the plate. The Sooners ace, Sam Landry, went yesterday, was really good. Got a win against LSU, so they're trying to cobble things together today. And it's been a conversation, guys, all year long. How many teams do we know of that has a consistent quality 2nd or 3rd pitcher? They've been hard to find.
Well, it has been. It's been very difficult to find that consistent number 2, and it's been more pitch by committee in that 2 hole.
0-2 pitch to Miller. Waits on the off speed. Knocked down by Bella, and the backhand over to first gets her. McDowell to second.
Well, and Arkansas was battle tested this season in SEC play, as every SEC team is. But Matt Michael is an assistant coach on this team and longtime assistant with Courtney Deifel, and he's just a numbers savant. So always runs RPI numbers and strength of schedule numbers, and he ran the numbers on SEC strength of schedule and came upon the conclusion that Arkansas's strength of schedule in SEC play was the toughest out of any SEC team.
They actually, even though both teams won yesterday, they jumped over Oklahoma in the RPI.
Yeah.
They're both still in the top 8.
No,
But with their...
it depends on who your
Yeah.
opponent's.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the crazy part of the RPI stuff. When
Yeah.
you start really digging into the numbers.
Arkansas's was against Tennessee. Oklahoma's against LSU. Those are also a couple teams that are fighting for a top 8 spot to host.
I'm surprised at how much Oklahoma has moved around. Before their Texas series, their RPI was 9. Then they swept Texas and just catapulted all the way up to 3. And right now, they're sitting at 7.
That's why, as much as we think the regular season should matter more, these SEC tournaments and Big 12 and ACC, the RPI and the KPI are considering that, which means the selection committee is considering that. And there is movement here late in the season. We remind you that there are a lot of different criteria, but over the course of history, the RPI, as we check out the Phillies at Guardians coming your way on Sunday Night Baseball, that's at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, and on Deportes, we'll get underway at 6 Eastern with our Sunday Night Countdown. But over the course of the years, historically, 94% of teams that finish in the top 16 get a seed. There are not many that jump in from the outside. Having said that, I think 1 through 13 are pretty safe. I think 14, 15, 16 are still up for grabs.
Yeah, it could almost be like through 20, through 18,
Yep.
19.
All would be considered. Remember, Stanford can't host. Tough losses late in the year for teams like Oregon and Ohio State.
I was going to say, it just kind of seems like nobody wants it. It just seems like everybody's losing to try to finish in what we think are going to be the 14, 15, and 16 national seeds.
But isn't that the amazing story this year of the parity, right?
Yes.
That anyone can beat anyone. I mean, look at Missouri, unfortunately below 500.
Right back up the middle for Rio. Runner will hold at third. And there are runners on the corners with just 1 down.
Arkansas is really using the middle of the field.
Yeah, they are throwing that ball right back past Smith. But I think that's why this postseason is going to be interesting, because you could go in as a 2 or 3 seed somewhere and do massive amounts of damage just because of the quality of conference play that you've had all year long. You're battle tested.
Well, this is a big message right now being delivered by the Razorbacks. Was it 7 of the 9 have already reached base? Up and down the order, they are making solid contact on Kirsten Deal and Bella Smith.
And with Oklahoma's offense, no lead ever feels big enough. So if you're Arkansas, you just want to continue to pile it on as much as you possibly can, knowing that the other offense and the other dugout can score very quickly with a ton of home run power.
Yeah, Oklahoma's one of those teams, as long as they have outs, that you always know they can put runs up on the board.
Trying to get to the semifinals for the 6th time is Arkansas. Of course, Oklahoma, their first SEC tournament after they won the regular season. That's a regular season championship now 12 times in 13 years for the Sooners throughout the course of their dynasty. Started back in 2013 with that championship team led by Kaylani Ricketts. That ball shoots by the catcher, and a run will score. McDowell slides in safely. It is 6-1 Hogs.
Michelle, this is a great read by Ella McDowell because the backstop is so shallow behind the catcher here at Jack Turner Stadium. Look at where the ball ends up when Emmerling gets it off of the ricochet, and McDowell had such a good read that she was able to score.
We're going to score that a wild pitch, but it certainly looked like Emmerling could have caught that.
Well, okay, so here's where it gets tricky, and this is where a lot of that you practice to do. Look at where the bat path is. You come back right into the eyes of the catcher. And when you come back into the eyes of the catcher, you can't see the rise ball, right? You used to do that in Japan all the time. So very difficult.
Here's Carly Davison. Doubled and scored in the second. Almost left the yard. 6 runs on 7 hits, make it 8 hits. And the parade continues. And the top of the order is coming around for the 3rd time in 3 innings.
You know, back to that ball getting past Emmerling. Courtney Deifel played professionally in Japan. She caught professionally in Japan. Trust me, she knew the number of times that happened to her as a catcher, understands how difficult it is behind the dish with that rise ball, and that bat path comes back. All those little things make profound differences, add runs up on the board. But how about this lower part of the lineup for Arkansas?
I think Brielis is one of the only hitters in the lineup to not reached in this game.
Allison Miller, that's it. And Bree could be coming back up this inning. We're going to have another pitching change. I didn't see anybody in the bullpen. Yes, we are. Peyton Monticelli is coming out. Third pitcher of the day for the top seed when we come back. PM, and welcome back to the SEC semifinals, the first of our doubleheader. And it is all Arkansas right now. They lead it 6-1. They have a couple still on base, just the one out. Of course, the run rule doesn't take effect till the 5th inning, but look at this. They have not been run ruled since 2015, 10 years ago.
That's incredibly impressive because I played so many games where we just felt like we were in it. We were getting beat by a few runs, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's the 5th or the 6th inning. You're like, dang it, they got ahead by 8, but you always feel like you're in it. And so for them, not been run ruled for a decade is incredibly impressive and says a lot about their pitching and defense.
They're not there yet. They've got firepower to bounce back, but Arkansas starting to flirt with it, and up and down their lineup has been effective. Back to the top, Johnson singled and scored and then laid down a sacrifice. Sends that out towards Pickering in left. And the runners will hold. 2 down. They bring up Reagan Kramer.
And another big at bat for Reagan Kramer. Thinking about that walk-off grand slam that Brielis hit, it was Reagan Kramer who drew the walk to load the bases to put the bat in the hands of Brielis and force Georgia to pitch to Brielis.
This is in. This is way outside.
Yeah, Monticelli's basically MO in the circle is really effective wildness. She is just going to throw the ball hard, and sometimes she knows where it's going, sometimes she doesn't, and that's, trust me, that can be hard to hit as a hitter.
Absolutely.
Arkansas saw her for 1 inning in the regular season. Had a couple starts early, but her last 9 appearances, she's come on in relief.
Mostly fastball, rise ball, more upspin, but a lot of ball moving around, not knowing.
And now the bases are loaded. And look who's coming up. 2 grand slams, and one of them from Brie Ellis in this tournament.
Whammo. First swing of the day, because nothing else came close, and she tattooed it. Pitch slightly on the outer half, gets around it, whacks it out for a granny.
Big chance for the SEC's Player of the Year. A couple of pop-ups so far in the ball game. And this is already the 3rd different pitcher she's seen. Out to center, Dayton on the run, and she'll get there. They've retired Ellis 3 times. But 3 more runs in for Arkansas.
Seems like this was a while ago, but Arkansas has now scored in every inning that they have stepped up to the plate. Kylie Wyckoff, the junior, a big day, a 2-run home run and 3 RBIs on the day.
Patty Gasso getting after her glove right now because of what's going on the scoreboard and around the base paths. Down 6-1, the regular season champs in a big hole. The good news for the Sooners, though, it is still early. But there have been active bats for the Hogs. They've scored in every inning, including putting up 3 in the top half of the 3rd. And now it's the top of the order for the bottom half of the 3rd. These are the noisemakers in this Oklahoma lineup. Starts with Pickering. Let's send it down to Holly Rowe.
Well, this Oklahoma team has huge expectations on their shoulders, always a target on their back. But Patty Gasso told me before the game that her wish for the team today is don't let tension be full in your body, the anxiety and stress to perform. You saw her gather the team together right there. They had a kind of a laugh at the end of that. She wants that tension out of their body and realizing that one moment in the game is not the whole ball game. You'll get another swing. You'll get another opportunity to make a play. That they want the tension of that one moment to release.
Yeah, that's a big target to be wearing around all year long. Pickering off the end of her bat to second. 1 down. What a wild postseason it's been around the NBA. May continue tonight with another doubleheader. Game 3, Cavs-Pacers. Pacers winning the first 2 on the road. And then the Thunder and Nuggets, that series even at 1 apiece. Countdown crew tips it off at 7. Here's Ella Parker.
Well, and if it's possible, don't you think that the target feels even bigger in the postseason?
Yeah.
Like as a team, they had to learn how to play with the target on their back in the pre-conference season, okay? And then we get to the conference season and we have another target on our back. But in the postseason, wearing an Oklahoma uniform, it's different.
Parker, did she get enough of it? She did! Home run, Ella! And that'll help them relax.
Well, that ball just kept traveling. It looked like Johnson was going to be able to get underneath of it, but it just kept going. And that's the power of Parker. She has been really good as of late. This pitch is elevated. It's got that over-the-top spin, and look at that split grip. Barrel slightly under the ball. And it just hangs for a long time.
Exit velo is 70 is good. 75 is really good. 81 is Ella Parker-ish.
Yeah.
Like that one. That had some air under it.
Yeah, 11th home run of the year. She has been on fire the last couple series. Really, really pulling the Oklahoma team along. Look at that, 5 home runs in her last 7 games.
McEnroe Marinas pops it up. 2 down. What you don't see, or we'll see if we can pick it up, but after she hits, she takes her cleat off and puts her boot back on with that lower leg injury.
She's going to do it right now. And that boot's sitting right below her left foot.
Here's Garcia.
Both of the home runs that they've hit, Sydney Barker and Ella Parker, that rhymes, huh? They've both been towering shots. Sydney Barker's was to left field, and then Ella's was to right center.
It's the little things.
It's the little things.
Garcia flew out to left, and there goes the boot. All part of the process, and Patty Gasso said, you play as much as you want, as long as you want. We're not going to take you out of the lineup until you tell us you don't want to be in it or you can't. And Ellis hasn't said that, and highly unlikely she would say that. Did Jada Coleman just drop that?
I believe so.
Oh, and it hurt probably her fingers. This is why. Look, she will not live that down. She's ashamed that she didn't catch it.
Another high fly ball. That's out towards Reagan Kramer. Side retired, but a home run gets one back for the Sooners.
Ella Parker showing that she can go yard, gets the boot off, puts the spikes on. 11th home run of the year. How about Parker showing the Sooners, hey, we're still in this. Let's go Boomer Sooner.
This season, in particular in the Arkansas series, 2 of their 16 comeback wins against the Hogs. So they will see if they can do it again. And like Patty was telling Holly Rowe, they've got to get a better performance out of their pitching staff.
Yeah.
6 runs on 8 hits.
Well, and Arkansas had a potential to score a lot more, too. Left the bases loaded. Bree Ellis was up. Probably could have busted the game open even more, and it's been like that in every inning with leaving runners on base.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're Oklahoma, you're actually looking and saying, hey, they've left 6 runners on base. That's pretty good. That could be a lot different score.
Here's Courtney Day. 4, 5, and 6. She leads off for the 2nd time.
It's been the free passes as well. So the hits, obviously, that the pitchers have given up, but the free passes have to limit those.
Infield pop. Garcia calling for it. 1 down. Winner of this one moves into the SEC championship game. Our 2nd semifinal follows this one. It's Texas and Texas A&M.
Well, and preparation is just so important going into a regional. And so you think about for regionals next weekend, how teams, the other 3 teams who were headed to Norman are going to prepare. And like they're going to put the majority of their preparation into hitting off of Sam Landry. And they're going to know at this point in the season, hey, that's what we have to do is to beat Sam Landry. If we get to the other pitchers, honestly, we're feeling pretty good. And so that's the scary thing about Oklahoma and any team that just is relying on one pitcher in particular is that coming up, teams are just going to be putting all their preparation into that one pitcher. And look, All-American type stuff. She can beat anybody in the country multiple times in a weekend. But you might run into a matchup that is so prepared for her and maybe beat her and you don't have the depth behind her.
The matchup, or what's her ability to throw back to back to back, especially when 2, 3, 4, and 5 potentially in the pen are giving up a lot of runs.
Your shortest path to a championship is to go 3-0 in the regional, 2-0 in the Supers, 5-0 at the World Series. Maybe we are going to see a return to the ace. That would be in a different direction. Remember, Oklahoma last year used 5 pitchers, a record in the championship game, as Wyckoff gets another base hit.
Have yourself a day. Wyckoff.
Wow, 3 for 3 with a home run. Here's Ella McDowell, a sac fly and a single. Scored a run on a pass ball.
Patty Gasso in the postgame was talking about how this SEC tournament has kind of felt like a World Series atmosphere. Being in the SEC tournament for the first time, playing their first postseason game outside of the state of Oklahoma, and it was 8 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's important for her, this young team. I mean, they've played a couple of games, right? They played Bedlam at Devon Park, getting this young team used to playing on that field, playing in these sorts of environments. And she said, hey, when we went to Alabama, 4,400 fans yelling against us. Now we know what it's like for an opponent. It's come into Love's Field.
Well, the walk puts 2 on. Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, it's SEC Inside, granting you an all-access pass to the SEC softball tournament. Never before seen footage and sounds from the semifinals and the championship game. A real behind-the-scenes look on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Got our crews out today and tomorrow to put that all together for you. So a couple on base here with 1 out. Arkansas trying to continue the trend. They've scored in every inning so far.
That was a team called meeting there. No coach came out to gather everybody out in the circle to talk on defense. Arkansas just this year has had a high on base percentage, taken a lot of walks. That's what they're doing in this game. A lot of those walks have come around to score.
Yeah, 250 coming into today's game, walks.
God.
And 5 today.
And another conference going on. There's nobody out in the bullpen for Oklahoma.
That's when you can tell when things just aren't feeling right. When there's a lot of coach conferences, when there's a lot of timeouts, you can tell that the coaches are feeling that there's something off. Want to have a lot of conversations, try to have a conversation that gets things back on track and gets some momentum on their side.
This is a Oklahoma team that is very strong fundamentally in the fielding department. You know, right now I'd just be asking the pitchers to hammer the knees and try to give some ground balls. Let that defense try to turn some double plays. They've been proficient at that.
Kennedy Miller with 2 on and 1 out. And Monticelli in for a strike.
And that's it. That's really should be the focus for the pitching staff of Oklahoma. Just hammer the knees. Let the defense gobble up some ground balls when it's put in play.
Miller. And back on the track is Dayton. Runner from second will tag, and Wyckoff will head to third, 2 down.
I just feel like every time Arkansas comes up to the plate, it's a productive at bat, a quality at bat, that they're squaring up pitches or taking close pitches. I mean, this is an offense right now that's just really clicking at the right time.
Miller able to advance the runner there, and a chance for Rio. Singled right back up the middle in the third. There's that hammer at the knees. High fly ball out towards Pickering. And she's got it. And that'll end the threat. Let's see if the Sooners can build on that run from their last time up. 6-2, Hogs. Here is your Super Regionals host bubble. Get ready for seeing a whole lot of SEC on that selection show. Looks like 14 of the 15 teams will get in, and as many as 8 or 9 will be hosting. They could have 6 of the top 8 that could be hosting Super Regionals. Right now, UCLA and Florida State are up there in the top 8. We do know that Florida State will be playing Clemson in the ACC championship game tomorrow. And Coastal Carolina against James Madison for the Sun Belt crown. The other finals yet to be determined. including this one. The winner here takes on the winner of Texas and Texas A&M coming up next. Sooners with some work to do. The top seed and the regular season champs are in trouble. Arkansas's got them 6-2 to the bottom of the fourth. 5-6-7 due up. Here's Sid Sanders.
Peyton Burnham has done a nice job in this game, and the thing that sticks out to me is just the one walk. And that's been a big difference maker for her because she's been able to find the strike zone. She's been able to get some mishits because of her changeup.
Sanders digs down for that one and golfs it out to right.
That was a really good swing on a changeup there. Speaking of that pitch, and you could tell how important that was for the Oklahoma dugout. They knew that was a changeup. Sid Sanders gives a clap to herself too as she's running down the line. A two-strike changeup. She gets it, hits it the other way. Just a good piece of hitting as she goes down and gets that pitch.
They're gonna lift Sanders for a pinch runner. She can re-enter.
It's the first time they've had their leadoff hitter on base.
Yeah, so it's Janie Helton now out there to run, and here's Alana Agbayani, a fly out to left, her first time up. Transfer from BYU, 1 for 3 yesterday against LSU. She was the SEC's Player of the Week a couple weekends ago. Hit .750 with a grand slam against Texas.
I feel like Oklahoma's at bats just looks so different after that Alabama series when they lost to Tuscaloosa. In Tuscaloosa, they looked unsure of themselves, a lot of swings and misses. They just didn't look like they were seeing the ball well at all or have a good approach. And then it's like the next weekend, they really adjusted some things. Aggressive swings, looked like they went up with a plan. They looked like a totally different offense than in that Alabama weekend, which Holly talked about the turning point for Arkansas. I think that Alabama series was a turning point for OU.
Yeah, they've won 8 of their last 10 since then, including a big sweep of Texas. Went toe-to-toe with Florida on the road last weekend, won 1 of the 3 there.
Well, welcome to the grind of the SEC.
That's
day
right.
in and day out. Every pitch.
Think about that first weekend of SEC play, the fight that South Carolina gave them. All 3 games were one-run games. They were facing South Carolina at home, and it was just a grind. Patty Gasso called it survival of the fittest in that series.
Agbayani, hard to second. Davison steps on the bag, throws to first, double play.
How about the defense for the Hogs? Just 22 errors on the year. This is a very proficient defense. Look at the way that Davison is going to take it herself, and I like that move. So she goes over and steps on it over to Ellis, and of course the freshman pitcher Burnham is excited to see.
Barker, is this another home run for Sydney Barker? Her second of the game. And another solo shot, and how huge was that double play for Arkansas? But now it's a 6-3 game.
3 home runs, and all 3 have been solo home runs. Sydney Barker is going to be a hitter, I'm telling you guys, for a long time. This Oklahoma lineup hit a rise ball over the left field wall and then sits on a changeup at 60 miles an hour and is right on time with it. This is a player who came in as a shortstop. They've used her in right field and first base. They're just trying to find ways to get her into the lineup because she can do that.
6 home runs on the season prior to this, and now 2 today. And as Emmerling go back to back, and here come the Boomer Sooners.
You cannot sleep on this offense. They are so explosive, and Patty Gasso just looking down, you could just see the way that she knew she just needed some shut down pitching in the circle, keeping Arkansas from putting up more crooked numbers so that her offense could go to work. And Emmerling gets a pitch. Look at the way she's just going to rotate through that ball. You could hear it off the bat. You knew it was going yard. Barker, Emmerling, back-to-back jacks, 77 miles an hour. How about a 249-foot home run for Bella, the basher?
3 home runs today from their 7 and 8 hitters in the lineup. And that will force the change in the circle for Arkansas. Things heating up at the SEC tournament. The SEC tournament, 28 years of this tournament. The largest comeback win is 4 runs. Well, Oklahoma down 6-1 a few moments ago. They've scored 3 unanswered. All of them via the home run. Ella Parker, Sydney Barker, Bella Emmerling. 4 home runs today. They have hit 100 for the season for the 6th year in a row. And now Reese Berline is the new pitcher trying to end this. All coming with 2 outs here in the 4th. Peyton Burning out after 3 2/3. This is what the home run can do. Because Oklahoma does not have a hit with a runner on base or a runner in scoring position. It's just a runner in the batter's box with a bat in hand, hitting it a long, long way.
All 4 solo. And why? I just keep thinking about how important that double play was.
Yeah, that was a game changer for sure.
3 of their 4 home runs have been with 2 outs.
Got to be close to 1,000 feet of home run yardage for the Sooners. Not this one. But OU with back-to-back home runs, tightening the score.
Sydney Barker, the freshman, going yard. How about the 99th home run of the year? These Sooners have bashed out of the park. And then Bella Emmerling, the junior, for the 100th home run of the year. The Sooners could still bop it out of the park.
Let's check out our game track and a 6-4 Arkansas lead. Multiple pitchers have been in and out. 7 have reached base for Arkansas. They had a 5-run lead at one point. And for the Sooners, all 4 runs, solo home runs, 2 of them by Sydney Barker. And they've tightened the score. Let's see if Arkansas can respond. It won't be easy. But if anybody could do it and end an 0 for 80 trend, it might be the regular season champs and the defending 4-time national champs.
I think if you're Arkansas here, you have to answer back. I mean, there's just no question about it with where we're at in this game. They scored in the first 3 innings, then put up a 0 in the 4th inning. You have to answer back with where you're at in the order, especially top of the order coming up on deck.
Second inning of work for Monticelli. Or 3rd, excuse me. And for a strike to Davison at 70 miles an hour.
And to y'all's point, I mean, if you look at the left on base for Arkansas, even though they've put a good number of runs up on the board, 6, they've left 8 runners on base. So they've had opportunities to put even more up.
And Bree Ellis left the bases loaded her last time up in the 3rd inning. Might see Bree do up 4th. with those 26 home runs on the year. And this is the 6th free pass.
Into the number 9 hitter who's been on base every single time.
Here come the Reagans. First Johnson, then Kramer. And first, before that, Patty.
With Reagan Johnson up, they've brought an outfielder into the infield as Sam Landry, the ace on staff, starts to loosen up now that this game has gotten closer, I think, and we're getting later into the game.
Looks like they're going to bring in the freshman, Audrey Lowry. So a 4th different pitcher of the day as Monticelli departs, Lowry comes on. Here's our next NWSL match for you. It's the Chicago Stars of the Washington Spirit. Got that for you tomorrow afternoon on ABC, 12:30 Eastern. Here's where we stand in Athens on this Friday afternoon. Into the evening, 4 teams left. Our first semifinal underway. Texas A&M and Texas to follow. 5 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. We'll crown a champion. A&M looking for their first. Of course, so are Oklahoma and Texas, their first years in the SEC. Arkansas trying to pick up their second in 5 years.
Lowry, the freshman, does a good job of controlling the free passes, just 3 on the year. She's crafty lefty, has a lot of that late sharp break. Does a good job of spinning a curveball, drop ball, so induces a lot of ground balls.
And for a strike to Johnson.
And it's so nice if Oklahoma wants to play this type of defense against Reagan Johnson like they consistently have, that they have somebody like Sydney Barker who's hit the 2 home runs that can come and play in the dirt. Shortstop, before she got here to Oklahoma, has played some shortstop here, but they have her starting in right field. But when they put this type of shift on and bring her from her right field position to the infield, she's feeling right at home.
Nobody out in right field right now. Seen more and more teams utilize this. When the analytics show you a spray chart that's all to the left side. Gets her to swing through it. That was the first strikeout today for an Oklahoma pitcher.
Take a look at the home runs for the Hogs. Ability to spray really throughout the field, Amanda. And as a pitcher, you know it's hard to pitch against that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you have home run power all throughout. I mean, even Reagan Kramer hit the grand slam, and that was just her 2nd home run of the year when she hit that grand slam. And then, of course, you have the home run hitter, Bri Ellis and Courtney Day back-to-back.
That chart was their home runs here at the SEC tournament through the first 2.5 games, and those are the 4 that are coming up, starting with Kramer. A couple of walks, an RBI single. Sends that the opposite way. Pickering. 2 down.
Bri Ellis is 0 for 3 today, and Oklahoma has handled her really well. She's actually faced 3 different pitchers and all 3 of her at-bats, and they're all going at her the same way. Kirsten Deal up and in, got her to pop up, and then she faced Isabella Smith, worked her on the inner half again, got her to pop up, and then Monticelli up and in. So they have a strategy against her that's to work her inside. We'll see if she adjusts in this AB.
In for a strike. She's 0 for 3. She's been the only quiet one. Rest of the team's hitting 500. How long can you keep her down? Oh, the hit and run on there. And now a 2-strike count.
Again, they go back up to that spot.
One of the things that Brielle has told me is that she modeled her swing after Tiare Jennings. She's just a student of hitting, Brielle says, and she just likes to watch things on social media. She'll sit in class and watch Synergy and just watch swings over and over again.
What kind of class is that?
I know, right? But she noticed in watching Tiare Jennings swing that it was a little bit flatter, and it allowed her to get to pitches that were more up in the zone. And so she said to herself, I think that that's something that I need to start doing. But Tiare Jennings, somebody that she looked up to watching her swing.
Ground ball to short. And how about the job they've done? Bri Ellis 0 for 4, and what a effort from the rookie Lowry right there. Up next, the 51st meeting of the Aggies and Horns. Winners into the championship tomorrow. There's still some intrigue as to where these teams will be seated once the NCAA tournament starts. There are the Longhorns staying hydrated on another hot day here in Georgia. Pickering in the top of the order coming up.
Seeing Tegan Cavan makes me think, what is our pitching matchup going to be for the second semi today? A&M and Texas. No.
Every team in yesterday's quarterfinals threw their aces, their supposed aces, so it will be interesting to see.
0-2 to Pickering.
I'm thinking, Michelle, I think we might be on the same page here. I'm thinking Texas goes with Mac Morgan.
Mac Morgan would be my vote.
For A&M, I truly don't have a grasp, but I really don't know. But I'm leaning Mac Morgan for Texas.
Two to Pickering. She's had a hit in 24 of her last 27. And from 0-2 to 3-2 against Reese Berline, the transfer from Mississippi State, now in her second year in Fayetteville. Chop back up the middle. Rio's there. One down.
How about this Oklahoma team? 4 home runs on the day, and look at the way that they spray them towards center, towards left field, a couple of them off of the changeup, the rise ball. They have left the yard quick. 100 home runs now in the year for the Boomin' Sooners.
And it's 50% of their runs scored. Parker's got one of them back in the third. She sends that one back off the wall. They had Kramer all spun around, and Ella slides in safely with a double. And that will bring the tying run to the plate for the Sooners.
And Ella Parker just has such a beautiful swing. She's a professional hitter. You can tell that even though she's feeling a bit of that pain still in her lower body, she's just battling through it. And you're absolutely right, Beth. Kramer did get just all caught up, turned around, didn't play it necessarily well, but that was an absolute shot off the bat of Ella Parker the other way.
Here's McEnroe Marinas, singled and popped up today, trying to come all the way back from a 5-run deficit. After a stern talking to from their head coach and a reminder to just chill out and relax. One swing at a time, one run at a time, and here they are on the doorstep. Parker to third. And the momentum now has officially shifted.
Now for Oklahoma, they have been aggressive. Home runs coming early in the count, either first pitch swinging or 2 pitches, 1 to 2 pitches in. They are in attack mode.
Got a mechanical issue here. That'll give us a chance to remind you that Sunday Night Baseball has the Phillies and the Guardians, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN. Deportes and the radio. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Sunday night, also our 2-hour selection show on ESPN2. Break down the bracket for you. Well, Nellie Mack might have something juicy to look at right here. Whoa, lets that one go right down Main Street. Oh no, they say there was a timing violation.
Pitcher, ball 4.
So it ends up being ball 4. Did not beat the pitch clock. And there you go to 0. Still in her hand.
I thought that it was that you had to start your motion by the time it got to 0. So it looked to me like she had started her motion and then the clock got to 0. So I think that's what Courtney Deifel is asking about. That's probably why Reese Berline is a little bit confused as well.
She's going to get her check with her pitcher to make sure they're receiving the pitch calls in a timely fashion. And they're going to make a pitching change and go to Robin Herron here. With Gabby Garcia coming up, the number 4 hitter. Also happens to be their leading home run hitter with 15 on the season. And Garcia is now the go-ahead run coming to the plate.
Bringing in the ace, the lefty right now for a lefty and Gabby Garcia coming up to bat. And Robin Herron has had a fantastic year for Arkansas. This is a pitcher who got experience her freshman year, but then has just grown and grown and grown since her freshman year into the absolute ace on this staff. A very confident pitcher with All-American stuff.
Holly.
Well, she threw a complete game yesterday versus Tennessee, 9 strikeouts. And one of the things she said after that game is that she just has to keep her tempo up. She likes to pitch with a certain pace. That doesn't mean how fast her arm is going or the ball is going. It's like how quick she's moving. She said, I know when my pace is high, I'm throwing well, and that she likes to stay loose. She took the circle with a big smile on her face. She said, when I'm loose, I pitch a lot better. Just relax and let my pitches work for me.
And Robin Herron has a fantastic changeup, and that is why she's so tough with 2 strikes. Opponents batting just 100 off of her with 2 strikes. This changeup, she can throw it through the zone, and she can get it to dive down. She tunnels that pitch so well with her curveball as well as her rise that it just puts hitters in fits. These are the 9 strikeouts that she had against Tennessee. She likes to use more of her arm side of the plate. She can throw that curveball backdoor and expand the zone with her rise ball. Has really electric stuff and has had a great SEC tourney.
Yeah, and 5 of the 9 hitters for Oklahoma left-handed. 9, 1 and 2 in a row, and then a couple through the middle, Garcia and Agbayani. So she'll match up well against them.
Gabby Garcia, a couple of flyouts to left field. Runners on the corners, 1 out. A chance to chip away even further.
I think that Oklahoma is going to continue to be aggressive off of her as well as they have been in this game because she has been so tough with 2 strikes in this tournament. She's only given up 1 hit with 2 strikes and a ton of strikeouts.
Just foul. Arkansas swept by Oklahoma in the regular season. They only have 2 wins all time against the Sooners. 14 straight losses dating back to 2009. They were cruising early with a 6-1 lead. And the regular season champs refusing to go quietly. the corner. 1 and 2.
Well, to your point, Beth, that's exactly what Patty Gasso wants to see. She wants to see the fight. She wants to see them battling, chipping away. Just that grit that it takes.
This is their first RISP opportunity of the night. In the dirt. 2 and 2.
Good job by Miller to keep that in front of her. Keep an eye on both the base runners in that first and third situation.
Swing and a miss. 2 down.
And her ability to throw that, Amanda, on the inner half is what really fools hitters even more. For that lefty-lefty matchup, this is just nasty. And you can see that Garcia is so far out in front of that.
So deep into her legs. She threw that change up a couple of times with 2 strikes. Garcia held back and then just couldn't hold back again as she brought it up about a ball.
Now it's Sydney Sanders, the veteran. That's the first strikeout, by the way, for an Arkansas pitcher. Both pitchers, pitching staffs getting a strikeout in the 5th inning. Took them a while. Speaks to how good these hitters have been.
Well, and I think that that's another reason that you like to bring Robin Herron into a situation like this. With the long ball that Oklahoma is hitting, she has the potential to pile up strikeouts. And with runners on base, it's exactly what you need.
Aggies are on deck.
It's Kennedy Powell.
Sanders.
And so with 2 strikes, she wants to go to that changeup. She has been so good with 2 strikes in this tournament.
Sanders hit a changeup for a base hitter last time up. Waits on it, gloved at third. McDowell with the one-hopper over to Ellis and the scoop, and that ends the threat. What a play for the backs defensively. To win a run.
To win championships, you've got to have the bats, obviously, and the arm in the circle, but it's a must-have to have the defensive plays when the game is on the line. Look at the way that McDowell's going to get up, get that ball over, and Bree Ellis picking this, the hogs, getting it done, and you got to love it, your pitcher.
This one, though, defense keeping Arkansas in it.
How about Ella McDowell making a SportsCenter top 10 play? You know, if you're going to beat this Oklahoma team, Tori, you've got to have great defense.
But don't forget about that pick by Bree Ellis. She made Ella McDowell look good. Shout out to the first baseman. Ladies.
All right, here we go into the 6th inning. The Razorbacks with the lead over the Sooners, 6-4. As the drama builds, the winner of this one into that SEC final. 4, 5, and 6 due up.
A couple of big defensive plays by Arkansas. That double play, and then, of course, that last one that we just saw. Just think about Arkansas's offense when you think about why they're one of the top teams, but they have one of the best fielding percentages in the country for a reason.
And a strikeout for Lowry.
This is a 0-2 pitch that was hit so hard, too, by Sanders. A changeup that was up, but Ella McDowell was playing a little bit off the line, and then the pick in the heel of the glove by Bree Ellis to finish it off, and then the embrace, the senior and the freshman pumping each other up.
Sanders, as Lowry tries to make quick work here in the 6th.
This one usually goes, you make a great play, and then you get to hit the next inning, the next half inning. I feel like that's how it always happens.
You should try to bring some of that momentum into the dugout, but instead a couple of quick outs. Good job by the freshman Audrey Lowry to shut that emotion down.
This is one of those at-bats that doesn't always show up in the box score, but they need a base runner in order to get the top of the order back up and a chance in the 7th inning if need be. Because if McDowell gets out, Oklahoma could get him with the bottom of the lineup in the 7th inning. Now they still have the 2-run lead, but it's a similar situation for the Sooners. The bottom of their order is coming up in the bottom of the 6th. Just those little things that can make a big difference to potentially get Bri Ellis back to the plate, even though it's been a tough go of it for the SEC's Player of the Year. We've seen what they've done in 7th innings the last 2 days. They've hit slams. McDowell right at Garcia, who gloves it. Back-to-back, 6 straight retired by Lowry, and some big swingers coming up for OU. It even more, trying to become the first team ever to do it in the 28-year history of the SEC tournament. But that was a couple of innings ago. The outs are getting short. 6 left for the Sooners to work with. Agbayani and then Barker and Emmerling. Those two have hit home runs tonight. Number 1 seed looking to stay alive. And for Arkansas, already an upset over Tennessee in this tournament. Looking for another big one to put on the resume for the selection committee. Agbayani, deep center field. And the Oklahoma Sooners have set an SEC tournament record with a 5th home run today.
Could never count them out.
Each and every one of them solo. And a prophetic Patty Gasso. Wait a second, was that a smile? I think it was. It still is.
She's proud of this team, the way they fought back.
Looking for that curveball. Got one that was not knee-high, about belt-high, and bit of more of a mistake. Looking to hunt early in the count, looking for a curveball, does not want to get 2 strikes against Herron, and knocks it out of here. I cannot believe that all 5 home runs have been solos.
And yet they are still looking up at the Hogs after Arkansas's fantastic start.
And they've only had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position. They're 0 for 2 RISP in this game.
But all their home runs coming either first pitch swinging or within the first 2 pitches of the at-bats.
These are the most home runs the Arkansas pitchers have given up in a game this year. She says she's tough. She says she's stern. She says she's old school, but look at those pearly whites. The comeback in this team and the fight. And a smile from the old ball coach.
Yeah, smiling, because Agbayani is typically one of the hitters that gets on base, doesn't always whack it out of the yard. That was just her 3rd home run of the year.
There's a strikeout for Herron, her 2nd.
Yeah, so that's a good comeback for Herron to be able to bounce back from that Agbayani solo shot to get Barker out, who has hit 2 home runs earlier in the game.
Here's Emmerling. Hit the 100th home run for the Sooners this year, back in the 4th inning.
And again, the one thing that Arkansas pitchers have done well, when you take away giving up the home runs, is limiting the walks. That there hasn't been a walk in front of the home run that turns it into a multi-run home run.
We had the Florida-Oklahoma regular season finale, and Tim Walton, that was one of his keys. He said, they're going to hit some balls out of the park. You just can't have anybody on base in front of them when they do. They won 2 of 3 from the Sooners that way. That's been the case so far today. But they still have outs to work with. And what this does now, bottom of the order, it gives the top another chance at some at-bats, either this inning or the next. More Pickering, more Parker, more Nellie Mack. Ground ball well positioned by Davison up the hole. 2 down.
Well, and you know Pickering wants up. I feel like she's just been hungry for a hit all day, the leadoff hitter for OU.
Yeah, she's ready to hit, and she's been ready to hit.
Yeah.
2 batters ago.
Yeah. She's seen all these home runs, and she's one of the best home run hitters on the team as well, just wanting to get in.
Here's Dayton, yet to reach base.
And the good part, again, from Arkansas's side of things is that the top of the lineup will come up again in this game, but they haven't seen Herron yet. So it'd be their first time to face her in this game, first look at her.
They've done a good job with Cassidy Pickering, who's on deck. The leadoff has not been able to elevate. 3 ground outs for Cassidy today. Of course, Parker and Nellie Mack have shown some effectiveness. 2-1 to Dayton. Three and 1.
Dayton being very choosy, not chasing anything, making Herron have to come into that zone, and it's falling behind 3-1.
Glanced at the scoreboard there to check the count. And now it's full.
So do you go to that curveball again, or do you put money on the changeup? That's the question right here. I'd say curveball because of the eye that Dayton has had. What do you say?
Inside changeup.
Drum roll, please.
Right.
Rise ball. That's what I was thinking. I just didn't verbalize it.
Oh, you did, yeah.
I got that one right.
Okay, let's do it again. I'm going changeup after that swing. What do you think?
I am going curveball inside.
Change low.
Change.
Struck her out. Second of the inning for Herron, but Agbayani inches him ever closer.
Agbayani, known for the short game, known for her skills at second base, says, hey, I want to hit it with the big girls. 3rd home run of the year, and she gets a smile on Gasso's face as well.
Wait, next week?
Well, here's our story for you. The game summary. Arkansas got out to the 6-1 lead. 5 solo home runs for Oklahoma to cut the deficit to 1. And the Sooners have a couple of comeback wins this year against the Hogs. Can they get another one, or does Arkansas hang on here? They'll try and tack on to the lead in the 7th. Hannah Core is the new center fielder for the Sooners. Cassidy Pickering moves to right. And it looks like Abby Dayton out in left. So changes in the outfield defensively. They like Core a lot with her speed and range. Here we go to the 7th. 6-5, Arkansas winner into the finals to face Texas or Texas A&M. That game coming up next. Beth Mullins alongside Amanda Scarborough and Michelle Smith with you. Rolling into championship Saturday tomorrow, and then the selection show Sunday night. On the road to the Women's College World Series. May 29th it'll get underway. Hogs have been decent down the bottom of the order. Ground ball to short. 1 down. Oklahoma, Audrey Lowry in this defense, they want a 1-2-3 to avoid the top of the order. Just 1 for their last 11 in these last 3 innings.
And they're 0 for Lowry. I mean, since Lowry's come in, she's retired 7 in a row.
Here's Rio, first pitch swinging, 2 down.
I think we should start saying that more. 0 for the pitcher.
Yeah.
You know, it just don't even say the number. Just 0 for Lowry, 0 for Landry, or whatever it is. I like that.
Freshman's been good. She had a little bit of an injury this year that she had to work through, has come back from, didn't get quite the experience that probably would have had. But an interesting fun fact about Audrey Lowry is that she has over 80 houseplants. Like, she loves...
She's a cactophile.
She's a cactophile,
She
and
is.
I think like 50 of them are cactus.
Fun fact. You're going to say she's been quite prickly to the Razorback
Prickly in the
hitters
circle.
today? I thought that's where you might be going.
That's how we know we've been working together for quite a while. But Lois,
20 years. If you want drama, we got it. In a 1-run game, Oklahoma has grabbed the momentum. Oklahoma has some pretty somewhat decent, not bad hitters coming up in the bottom of the inning.
Buzz the tower.
I think Cassidy Pickering might make an appearance. Ella Parker, get that boot off, get that cleat on. And then Nellie McEnroe-Marinas. Only Bri Ellis has hit more home runs and driven in more runs in league play than Nellie Mack.
Yeah, talk about an outstanding freshman campaign. Woo.
Swing and a miss. Lowry does her job. Do the Sooner hitters do theirs? A chance to walk it off for the finals with the top of the order coming up. Oklahoma Sooners still not quite enough. They're down a run to the bottom of the 7th, looking for their first walk-off since that woman in black got them one at the World Series over Florida to advance to the championship. And it's the top of the order and a couple of her former teammates, Pickering and Parker, to lead off. Looking for her first hit. Has not been on base tonight.
Back-to-back change-ups in this at-bat to Pickering. The first one to get ahead through the zone. The second one for a chase.
0-2 facing Robin Herron as Arkansas looks for its second big win in as many days. Knocked off Tennessee yesterday, trying to take down the 4-time defending national champs tonight.
3 change-ups in a row. Started her last at-bat with a changeup as well. Reduced the ground ball out.
Try to get her to chase up and away.
She has let off every time that she has come up to the plate.
Pickering, base hit. Tying run aboard. And here comes Ella Parker. Last 13 games, she's hitting over 500. Pickering lifted for a pinch hitter. She could re-enter. That's Tia Malloy.
Back in the third inning, that Ella Parker hit the second solo home run just out of the reach of Reagan Johnson. Ella Parker is heating up the second half of SEC play and into the postseason.
No team in 28 years in the SEC tournament has come back from a 5-run deficit to win. Ella Parker's resume, probably the only hole in it, no walk-offs in her first 2 years as a Sooner. Ooh, way out in front. Good pitch from Heron.
Really good pitch. Great location. Great spin. And just sells it at the end.
Parker, this could be 2. Over to first, and Ella beats it out. They take care of the lead runner. Bobble proves costly there.
Well, they've already turned one double play in this game, but it was the transfer of Rijo that she just didn't look like she could get a good grip and went to her glove again. Good hustle by Parker to break up that double play. That had 4-6-3 written all over it. It was Oklahoma an additional out.
Here's McEnroe Marinas. What we've seen in the past for the Sooners is they've kept Parker on base until she gets into scoring position, possibly get a pinch runner in after that. She has not been lifted yet. And quite honestly, she's been running okay on the bases lately.
Well, it's interesting to me how Heron and the pitch calling of Courtney Deifel is attacking these hitters in the 7th inning. About, I'd say, 60 to 75% of these pitches have been changeups.
3-0. From the Hawaiian pipeline to Oklahoma, that all looked up to Jocelyn Alo growing up. Had to watch last year. Sat out as a redshirt. And now with the captain's C on her chest, stepping in. Her first big moment in postseason play. Three-two from Heron. Waits on the change. Finds a gap out in right center. Parker to third. She'll hold there. On the double from Nellie Mack. Tying run at third. The winner at second.
Three-two count, and Nellie Mack is going to get a curveball on the outer half that she just goes and gets and drives that the opposite way. She goes down. Look at the way she hunks that pitch. She goes down and just hits that into the gap. Ella Parker all the way from first over to third, and at the last second is going to put her back on third. So second and third now with one out.
Well, now you also invite the possibility of a sacrifice fly here to score the tying run. She had a walk-off double against South Carolina March 9th. That's their last one. And she's coming up. And now they will put in the pinch runner at third base for Parker. Maya Bland. Have to be extremely careful now. The runners on base not to leave early, because you know a challenge would be coming.
The inability to turn that double play on Parker looms large right now.
Freshman Gabby Garcia. First pitch swinging, sends it deep, and sends it out. And the Oklahoma Sooners make history. Coming back from 5 runs down to win it with a walk-off. And they are on to the SEC championship game.
This is a program that just knows how to win.
A record 6th home run of the day, and for the first time in 3 decades, a team rallies from 5 down to win. And they knock out Arkansas 8-6.
And how about Gabby Garcia hitting in the 4-hole, had not had a hit yet. A strikeout, a couple flyouts.
Well, and she had struck out her last at bat on a changeup, so against Robin Herron. And so you know that she went up with the mindset, I'm going to look to hit early in the count, and I want to hit a firmer speed. I don't want to get wrapped up in that changeup again. I mean, a moment that freshman of Gabby Garcia will always remember, but it was Cassidy Pickering that started this inning off, got her first hit of this game, and then Gabby Garcia did the exact same thing with her first hit.
After the top of the 3rd inning, they were losing 6-1. And since we put up the graphic about them possibly getting run ruled, they rallied. A reliable connection brought to you by T-Mobile 5G home internet. As Garcia elevates to celebrate.
And she knew it off the bat. It was a rise ball or a curveball that was up about belt high. She liked that speed. She liked seeing a pitch that was up and not a change buried in the dirt. And she got it. 6 home runs for Oklahoma in this game. That was the only non-solo home run.
And how about Nally Mack in front of her, Garcia with her home run. The 2 of them left off the freshman of the year list, but those 2 athletes incredible.
And Gabby now with